Marvel Rivals Season 1 is right around the corner, so here's what to expect. So, first off, the name of Season 1 is Eternal Night Falls, and will be featuring Dracula as the main antagonist of the season. Season 1 will be 3 months long and is divided into 2 halves lasting 6 to 7 weeks. This new season will include 4 new characters, those being the Fantastic Four. But instead of them all being released on launch, 2 will be released on the season's launch, and 2 will be released in the second half. The first 2 characters to be released will be Mr. Fantastic, who is a duelist, and the Invisible Woman, who is a strategist. Now, the Human Torch and the Thing will be released in the second half, and the Human Torch will be a duelist, and the Thing will obviously be a tank. Not a tank. I hate these new terms. He will be Vanguard. Alright. And they will be released during the mid-season. I do like this approach because it keeps the game from getting stale and boring because they're spreading out these new hero releases and other content releases throughout the season. So it doesn't get stale instead of releasing all the content at once, which would be... It would get boring, as I just said. Now, along with these characters, there will be 3 new maps set in New York City, those being the Sanctum Sanctorum, Midtown, and Central Park. Now, only 2 of these maps will be available on launch, which is Midtown and the Sanctum Sanctorum. The other one will be available in the second half of the season. I like that we're getting maps based in New York, or New York City. I pronounce it as New York because, I live... okay. Because it is where a lot of Marvel stories take place. It is also where many of Marvel's teams are located. We'll also be receiving a new game mode called Doom Match, which will be located in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Now let's talk about the Battle Pass. Now the Battle Pass in Season 1 will contain double the amount of the Season 0 Pass content, because the season is longer, but the pass will also be double the price, costing 990 Latice, however you pronounce it. Now the Battle Pass will include 10 costumes, which three of which we already know, as well as other content for those skins like emotes, sprays, MVP animations, which look really good in the game, by the way, and a lot more. You will also receive 600 Latice for completing the Battle Pass, and also, just like Season 0, this Battle Pass will not expire until you complete it. Now we're going to talk about specific map details as well as nerfs and buffs to certain characters. Now first I want to talk about a unique mechanic that will be present on the Midtown map, which will include recursive destruction, which is a mechanic that basically rewinds the clock and repairs any damage done to the environment, which could, I guess, lead to interesting combat scenarios. Now I'm going to talk about nerfs and buffs to certain characters, starting with Hela and Hawkeye, who will be receiving a much-needed nerf, most likely and hopefully related to damage. Now, on the other hand, Venom and Captain America will be receiving a buff, which is most likely movement-related, because I feel like we've heard something about a movement buff coming to Venom and Captain America, which I don't know if it's exactly needed, because Venom has his kind of swing. His walking's a little bit slow, but I feel like he has a swing. And Captain America always sprints, but, who knows? They'll be even faster. Wolverine and Storm will also be receiving buffs, most likely also pertaining to damage or fire rate for Storm, because she shoots a little slow. I also don't see a lot of Storms, really anywhere. Cloak and Dagger will also be receiving a buff, which is unknown in what category, because I feel like Cloak and Dagger are really versatile when it comes to just a strategist. Now, this much-needed buff is that Jeff the Shark's ult will be able to be detected a lot easier before it occurs, which will most likely mean the area of effect will show up a lot of time before the actual ult happens. So, it'll be easier to counter it now. And I think that's actually it for the changes to Marvel Rivals that you can expect in the first half of the season, with more details on the second half of the season coming... coming closer to its release. And that is it for me. If you'd like to see more of my content like this from me, oh god, I will be covering almost everything Marvel Rivals related. So if you want to see more of my content, subscribe with notifications so you're notified as soon as anything releases. Goodbye.